Okay.
Listen, Wall Street and banks been built.
All right, there we go. Yes. I think we're live. All right. Hello, everyone.
I just need my box.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Jun the Groomer here. So got a house full of people today. My dad and my brother, everybody's here. So anyways, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully everything goes smooth and no interruptions. But I wanted to start off with a question from Morgan Poland. And Morgan asked about her, I think it's Morgan is a name that can go both ways. It could be male or female. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get the light here. All right, this is still a work in progress. But anyways, Morgan asked if they should just cut out the mats between the paws, between the pads of Shih Tzus. And before I get into the answer here, I wanted to show you something really quick. And this is just so we can understand. Oh no, hold on one second. That's not it. Here it is. Just so we understand what a mat is and how it forms before we actually answer. So it says, anyways, a mat is dead hair that gets caught. As the mat gets bigger, hair from farther and farther away from the original site becomes entangled and pulls on tender skin, causing the animal discomfort. So it starts to already pull at their skin, and that's why when we go in there and try to comb the mats out and break it up, that's why the animals react the way they do, or the dogs in the case of dog grooming. And notice where mats commonly form: behind the ears, back of the legs, backside of the haunches, groin area. So these are where they call like the high friction areas. So that's basically what's going on is the hair is rubbing together, and a lot of the dead undercoat or the fuzzy undercoat that's maybe not dead but still dying and is in that later phase of life, they start to get tangled together. And then as they start to ball together, dirt and debris and then other hair starts to tangle up into it, and then you get a big mess. And so once we understand that, like the other day, just yesterday actually, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the day before, but I did a Schnauzer completely matted, but they wanted the head nice and round. They didn't want the Schnauzer head, the shaved head. They wanted more of the teddy bear head. And so, but the head, muzzle, everything was just matted. And so what I did was I just spent time, dematting the head, and then the rest of the body, I went with the 7 areas on the legs. It was so matted, so tight. And these areas are pulling already so tightly on the skin. I went with the 10, to safely get under the mat, so I'm not going to cut the skin. So, unfortunately, I had to shave the rest of the body down. And then with the head, I kind of did like a, just kind of blended it into the shorter body. But anyways, I'd say it really depends. If it's a really big, tight mat, then yeah, go ahead and cut it out. And then as the hair starts to grow back, it'll probably start to grow back like dead and like kind of brown and fuzzy. I would start to pull those out as it starts to grow out. But if it's not that matted, and you can maybe break it up and then pull those hairs out, because there's been several doodles where they used to do like these crazy jumps and donkey kicks, because I would try to comb out the in between the pads where the hair was all brown and matted in between the toes, and on the pads. And so finally I realized what was going on. So after I shaved it a couple times, it kept, it seemed like the black and brown skin and the irritation and stuff, it just never really got better. It would always kind of just be yucky. The dogs are always chewing at it. So once I realized what was going on, that there's just probably a lot of dead hair stuck in those pores, and it's constantly getting, matted, and it's absorbing, it's holding on to the moisture and the dirt and debris and bacteria, and so it's getting brown and nasty, and the dogs are chewing at it, trying to get it out, so that's kind of what happens. And so rather than just shave it off, I started to, at first I had to shave it because it was just really too matted, but then when they start to come every 4 to 6 weeks, as it starts to grow out, I started to break it up with the comb, with the metal comb, and they're freaking out, you know. But I started to use like, you know, the body powder, the ear powder and stuff like that, and just pull it out gently, just get as much as I could out. And then once I was able to do that, now I use Banix. I spray Banix on there. But before I knew about Banix, I just used ear cleaner because I figured that's bacteria and yeast, and ear cleaner kills bacteria and yeast in the ears. I figured why wouldn't it kill it on the pads and the toes? So I used ear cleaner before I used Banix. So before I knew about Banix, I used ear cleaner, and I had pretty much the same results because basically it's just bacteria and yeast growing in between those toes. Oh, so let me see if I have any questions coming in. Ashley, oh, message retracted. Okay, I guess somebody retracted their message. No, I was kidding. It's Ashley Plan. Hello, Ashley. And Nanny Ortiz. Hello, Nanny. Good to see you. So as I was saying, as I started pulling those brown, dead, fuzzy hairs, you know, as I started pulling those hairs out, in between the toes of those doodles, especially the doodles, but in between the toes of those doodles where I would do that for, it would be like kind of pink, you know, like raw skin, and you could see the skin. But then as it grew in, it wouldn't bother them anymore. And actually that day when they would go home that night, the parents would tell me like, oh, they didn't chew at their feet anymore, you know, because those hairs were pulled out, and now it's not feeling tight inside their skin. It's not bothering them anymore, so they don't chew at it. And so I say if you can pull it out, pull those hairs out. Use a stripping knife, use cornstarch or body powder, if you know, or ear powder, anything like that to help grip those hairs and pull it out. If it's too matted though, if it's like tight balls and it's hurting them too much, shave it off. Then I would say shave it. If you're comfortable using the scissors, use the scissors and cut them out. And sometimes with the scissors, what you can do is have the dog's paw. So let's say this is a dog's paw. Have it and use the scissor. Oh shoot, am I lagging here? Okay, use the scissor to go through this way. So even if the dog, you know, moves around, you're not gonna actually do any harm because the scissor is pointing outward this way. So do like that. So let's say there's a big mat in between here, right? In between these paws. Then use the scissor and you can break it up like that even. So you can break it up like that and use the scissors to break it up. There's lots of ways to go about it. Just really depends also on your dog's temperament as well, and how willing your dog is to put up with it, and how it makes you feel as well, because I'm willing to put up with a lot. I mean, sometimes dogs kind of explode and they freak out, and I'm not even doing anything. I'm not even touching their paw, you know, but they're anticipating the pain. They don't want you to touch it. They don't want you to mess with it. But I just stay there and I just let it. I just imagine like waves of fear and emotion and all of that just crashing on me. And I just need to be that rock, you know, and just let it crash on me. And then finally, when it's over, then I go ahead and work on it. But, you know, that's not for everybody. And I know that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel uncomfortable sometimes when I'm going through it, you know. I just got to breathe and just breathe out things. Oh, interesting thing. When I actually got a professional massage at the Aji spa at the Wild Horse, Sheraton Wild Horse Pass Resort, anyways, in Arizona, the masseuse told me that sometimes, parakeets, sometimes when he's massaging certain clients, he'll hit it like a knot in the ankle or something like that. And all of a sudden he'll have like a coughing fit. And it's because the energy transfer, it goes through his body. And so he starts to cough uncontrollably. Yes, Annabelle? Oh, nice. Okay. So there's an energy transfer that definitely happens when you're involved in touch therapy, or when you're touching another person, period, or another being. There's an energy transfer that happens. So when a dog is feeling that fearful and I'm there holding it and I'm taking it all in, there's definitely that energy transfer. So I feel the fear, anxiety built up inside me. And at first I didn't understand it until I actually got that massage and that masseuse told me what was going on. I almost jumped off the table. I got up. He was like, no, lay back down, you know. But it just clicked. I'm like, that's why I feel, oh, I accidentally kissed your lips. Okay. Bye, Ava.
Bye.
Bye, Annabelle.
Bye.
Have a good time at piano practice. Okay. But yeah, so, you know, always, bye, Annabelle.
Bye.
Have a great day at piano practice today.
Okay.
Okay. So always remember that when you're working with a dog, especially a fearful dog or a dog that's scared of certain areas like the feet, and you're about to work on the area, there is definitely that energy transfer that happens. So you may start to feel that, that feeling that the dog feels just because you're actually touching that dog, especially in those areas. All right, okay, so the name is Mai Anasrala. Hola, Mai. So Nanny Ortiz, what shampoo is good for fleas? Okay. So I'm glad you asked about that, Nanny, because like I said, I started using Sentry. What was that, last week? I said I put Sentry on my dogs. So it seems to be working better on Weemy, my little Shih Tzu, than it is on Dexter. And it seems to be working better on Dexter than it is on Angel, my retriever mix. And so Dexter has a short coat. He's a blue pick mix. So he has a short blue coat. Angel has that longer, medium-sized retriever type of coat, that husky type of double-coated dog. And then Weemy is a Shih Tzu, Maltese mix. So he's that long coat, Maltese, type of coat. And I don't know what it is. I just brushed them today. I spent hours this morning brushing them. But yeah, Angel has a lot of fleas. And I was like, is this not working? And the fleas were especially like around her face and muzzle. And then like around her armpits and in between her thighs. And when I was combing her though, she had a thick mane. And so when I brushed it all out, I got so much dead hair out of my dogs. I haven't brushed them thoroughly. I haven't carted them out like that in a couple of weeks. So I got a lot out of her mane area, around her neck and chest area. So I'm thinking maybe the medication didn't have a way to get past all that thick dead undercoat. And so maybe that's why it wasn't so effective in the armpits and these areas, the rest of her body. And especially her face, she's a hunter. Even on our walks, I can't stop, she like hunts turtles, toads, it doesn't even matter. But yeah, she's always sticking her face in brush and dead sticks and leaves and stuff. And so there was a lot of fleas, obviously. So I, combed all that out, sprayed the peppermint spray thing on them. And I know that we're not supposed to mix flea medication. So I'm gonna wait it out, till the 4 weeks, and rather than reapply the Sentry or this one, because on Mimi there's just a couple of fleas. On Dexter there was a few fleas, and so so Cat for Animals. I don't really know her real name, but Cat for Animals. She actually works for a vet, and she recommended Revolution. So I'm gonna maybe try Revolution. I actually researched Fipronil, which is the main ingredient for Sentry Fipro Guard. So Fipronil is a pesticide, and they test it on animals, and it's safe and everything. And it's supposed to work. It's supposed to interfere with the central nervous system for the fleas, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be working with my dogs. So I'm probably going to try Revolution next. And thank you, Cat for Animals, for the recommendation. So Nanny, shampoo. Oh, back to the question. Nanny Ortiz, what shampoo is good for fleas? Really, honestly, any shampoo. But if you want to get shampoo specifically for fleas, there's like what is that called? The Citron or something like that. But citronella and things like that. But there are flea shampoos for dogs. Diatomaceous Earth shampoos and conditioners. Derm Magic makes a good line of flea shampoos and conditioners. But really, honestly, I learned this from Pam Lauritsen, Any shampoo will work because fleas smother pretty easily. So as long as you let the shampoo sit for 5 to 10 minutes and you give it a good rinse, and then you put conditioner on and leave it for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you give it a good rinse, usually the fleas are going to be gone, no matter what kind of shampoo or conditioner you use. So this is my honest take on it. If you want to buy a specific flea and tick shampoo that has like citronella oil and rosemary extract and all these good things, perfect. I mean, Charlie Dog. Bobby Panther makes a really good one called Charlie Dog. Alan Powell, one of my favorite groomers, he likes Charlie Dog as well. A lot of groomers I've worked with, actually. Jessica Lovegren, Melissa Diener, the regional manager of Pet Club, Pet Club Grooming. But anyways, every groomer that I've met that has used Bobby Panther's Charlie Dog, they loved it. I love it. So Charlie Dog is a good one, but really you don't necessarily have to get one just for flea and tick. They smother pretty easily, and then the ticks, just find them and get them out. So let's see here. Let's get to these questions. Joanna Anise. Hi Joanna. I'm so happy that people are actually like here, like, joining. Okay, so Joanna. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so this is 1234-4321 Kimmy. Hey June, I just started grooming a few months ago. What do you recommend doing for dogs that are really squirmy, like around the face and feet? Okay, so this is gonna sound a little crazy, but I say visualize. And I always like to preface crazy stuff with, don't think that I don't think that this stuff sounds crazy. Okay, so I don't want to end up in a nut house. I don't want you guys thinking I'm crazy. But honestly, I've been giving a lot of this stuff a try, a real honest try, and it's been working. So is it so crazy? So okay, like a soccer coach would tell their soccer players, visualize the ball, cutting, doing whatever, right into the, bending right into the goal. Basketball coaches, visualize, visualize it happening. So, that's that. I call it Jedi Grooming in my book, The Art of Grooming. I call it Jedi Grooming, and I'm not sure if George Lucas would even find me worth suing. But anyways, it's really like Jedi mind tricks. But you visualize, you picture, imagine the dog behaving the way you would want it to behave, and actually, start to touch it the way you would touch it, the way if it were behaving the way you were wanting for it to behave. And really take a deep breath in. And then, it's like center yourself, and taking a few deep breaths, like physiologically, it kind of resets our body. So dogs can pick up the slightest changes in our body chemistry makeup. They're actually mapping human emotions using dogs' ability to smell. So they can smell the smallest changes in our body and emotions and how we're feeling. So taking a deep breath, centering yourself, making sure you can see it happening, and then hold the dog like it's actually happening. Pet it with the scissors and then go at it. And 9 times out of 10, it works. If it doesn't work, just repetition and just keep giving the dog. And the thing is, we have to make it very clear and obvious. We have to give the dog a good reason why we're doing what we're doing, why we're asking them to cooperate. If we don't, and the thing is, you can't just sit down and say, hey, let me reason with you. Let's have a logical conversation about this, A equals B, and that's not how you communicate with a dog. You have to dogs just do, they just are, so we just have to show them, but with our body language, with just how we're feeling, everything, we have to make it so obvious to them that we're actually just trying to help them, and then visualize it happening, and then go for it. Just like, like a soccer player, before they're about to, do that penalty kick, there's nobody around, just that, just the player and the goalie, and the ball's right there. You know, before they ever take a step towards the ball, they're already visualizing what's going to happen, what they're going to do, what the goalie's going to do, and what the ball's going to do. You know, they've already seen it in their head, and then they go for it. So that's the thing with the dog grooming as well. You have to picture it in your head first, and you have to see it actually happening, see yourself doing it. And once you can actually see yourself doing it, and you actually feel like it's possible, you can see yourself doing it, that's when you just do it. You know, you picture it in your mind, you do it. Einstein says information will get you from, logic. Einstein says logic will get you from point A to point B. Imagination will take you everywhere. So imagination, and I think that groomers, that's kind of an advantage we have, right? Because almost every single dog groomer I've met, very artsy types, you know, we're very artsy. And so we have a great imagination already. Just use it, not for the worst. So, and I think that's what trips us up. We always picture the worst. And me too, you know, I'm like, before I'm like about to work on a dog that's really squirming for the head, I see blood everywhere. You know, I see like the scissors, you know, in the eye, you know, but I'm just like, that's why it's important to breathe and recognize, okay, these are thoughts I don't want, and then push it out and then start to imagine the scenario that you do want and really start to believe it. And that's the hardest part. I think that's the hardest part. But a great question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 1, Kimmy. Okay, so Joanna Anise. Had a poodle afraid of clippers. Use my thinning shears and it worked like a charm. Oh my goodness, I love that, Joanna. So yeah, I mean, that's what I love about dog grooming. I never go in with a preset strategy. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, because even the dog I've groomed before, sometimes they're having a bad day. I don't know what, you know, like sometimes I'm having a bad day. Oh. So just the other, like, I think it was Monday night. Monday. I think I was kind of having a bad day. You know, I was feeling, you know, first of all, I was like running late, traffic, and, you know, just, you know, I'm a people pleaser. You know, I hate letting people down. So I started feeling very anxious. The poodle was, you know, my first time me seeing him, kind of a puppy, wouldn't stay still for a lot of the stuff, wouldn't really cooperate well. That kind of pushed me back a little bit. So then I was running late for the next appointment, and the dogs, these little Maltese that I've done, you know, oh my God, I'm so close with these Maltese. You know, the little one, you know, kind of like screamed a couple times, and I was like working out a mat in the inner thigh, kind of had like a poo stain there. And then the older one, while I was force drying her, she, you know, kind of freaked out, started barking like crazy and tried to jump off the table. You know, I threw the force drying thing hose down, trying to turn it off, but then trying to hold her on the table. You know, things just did not work out. It was a mess. Oh my God. And the owner comes in, she's like, can I hold her? I'm like, of course you can hold her, you know? So she's trembling, the dog's trembling, she's holding her, you know, I'm just like, oh my God. And I told her, honestly, it scared me, you know, like I was scared. And I told her, you know, I think it's me, you know, I think it's the anxiety I felt, you know, just being late, causing them to, you know, like be inconvenienced, you know, and everything. And so I don't know, but I think a lot of times it is the dog's reacting to us. But anyways, getting back to what Joanna Nice was saying, being creative, being able to adapt to the situation and saying like, okay, so this isn't working out this way, let's do it this way, you know? So yeah, turn the force dryer off. Okay, obviously we're not gonna force dryer anymore, you know? So then just kind of combed and brushed the rest of the way. Yeah, so I think as dog groomers, it's so important that we have a good imagination, because that also, not only does it help us to visualize positive results, but it also helps us to be creative and come up with creative ways to you know, overcome these challenges that present itself sometimes during the groom. Because, you know, we don't know how the dog's gonna act at certain times. We don't know when they're gonna move at certain times, you know, and so just, you know, I I feel so proud that I'm a dog groomer, you know, I feel I get snickers, you know, sometimes when I tell people, oh, I'm a dog groomer. I give dogs haircuts, and people, you know, snicker, they laugh. But if they only knew how amazing it is to be a dog groomer, oh my goodness, like we do so much and it involves so much trust. Ashley Paland, what kind of scissors do you use? So I use I think it's called Master Groomer, and you can buy it on petedge.com. Cheapest shears available there, just, you know, bottom of the line, not top of the line, bottom of the line. And also a pair of Aussie shears that a groomer named Robert gave me. And I'm just gonna see if it helps if I move this light here. Okay. So Robert is a groomer that I worked with in my early years, and he gave me a pair, 3 pairs actually. No, 4 pair. No, I think it was 3 pairs. So he gave me 3 pairs of scissors from Aussie Dog, and I bought another 3 pairs from Aussie Dog at Atlanta Pet Fair. But I use Aussie Dog shears, you know, because they weren't that expensive. You know, they're light, they're easy to use. But honestly, if I'm saving up right now. If I'm going to buy another pair of scissors, and these are scissors I bought 6-7 years ago. So I haven't really bought new scissors. I just keep sharpening them. But I don't use expensive name brand scissors. And the reason why is because I couldn't afford them. And I wanted to try all these different sizes and shapes, curve shears, you know, different lengths. But I just couldn't afford to buy, you know, all the different sizes and, you know, styles that I wanted, you know, thinning, blending, buying name brand. So I just went with Top Paw, you know, like the cheapest stuff. I bought some shears at PetSmart. Actually, probably one of my best thinning shears right now that I use, like Top Paw from PetSmart. But yeah, I don't. But if I'm gonna buy shears, my next one is gonna be Chona shears, and because Chona, she is a breeder. And she shows her dogs, she breeds and shows, and she makes her own scissors. And she stands by them, and she's as passionate about her scissors as I am about dog grooming. And like any customer complaint, she's on it personally. She doesn't put any other rep. She's the main, she's it. She's a designer, she's the owner. If you don't like scissors, she says, send me, I'll send you a couple, like 3. Send me yours back, and then you pick one out of the 3 that you like. Like she's amazing. So I'm gonna buy Chona shears. It is a little bit expensive. The one that I'm eyeing, I probably need to come up with about $300-400 for a pair of blenders that I'm looking at. But I feel like it's worth it from now on, because these cheap scissors that I've used, they've lasted me this long, and all I do is just keep sharpening them often. So I figure if I spend $400 on a good pair of blenders, not only will I not have to sharpen it that much, but it's gonna give me a better quality cut, and it's gonna last me probably longer than these cheap scissors last me. So I'm gonna start buying more expensive scissors, and I'm probably gonna start using Chona shears, and that's CHONASHEARS.com. So chonashears.com. But that's just me personally, So let's see here. Next question. Joanna Anise, on the face of Poodle, LOL. Oh, wow, on the face. So yeah, she did. So Joanna is saying she used the thinning shears on the face of a poodle to get it short. Wow, that's skills right there, Joanna. Mad props. Steel TX Gal. So Steel Texas Gal, I'm guessing. So Steel Texas Gal. Do you ever do the hair stripping? I have a Schnauzer Dachshund mix and was wondering how you even get them started on that, since it seems to hurt. Okay. Steel TX Gal. Especially if you have a Schnauzer Dachshund mix, because both breeds actually really needs hand stripping. Here's the easy way to do it. Fluff up the hair, and the hair that doesn't lay nice, and the hair that kind of looks fuzzy and dull, and kind of just stays up and doesn't lay back down nicely, just grab those with your fingertips and just start pulling them out. And the fuzzy hair, the discolored hair. My dog Dexter, for example, he's a short-haired blue pit mix. He's starting to look brown, actually, like gray brown, you know. I spent about an hour on him this morning going through, and he's a short-haired dog, about an hour, sweating. And now he's blue again. He's actually blue, like the color came back, because these old hairs really need to be pulled out. So I would even say if you wanted to go through with the Greyhound comb, the fine side of a Greyhound comb, and go through with that, you know, even that, just doing that, anything helps, really. You don't have to do as thorough as I do. I wouldn't even expect it. That's kind of like a dentist expecting me to, you know, do my teeth cleaning as like intense as he would. No, I would never expect you guys to card your dogs or hand strip them the way I would, especially if you're a pet owner at home. But just going through with the slicker brush or a Greyhound comb, that would do so much to benefit your dog's skin just by clearing that much out, just with the Greyhound comb around the neck, behind the ears, all of that, just with the steel comb, a metal comb. So, and the thing is, it might seem to hurt at first because they're already in pain. A dog's skin is much thinner than our own skin. So a dog's skin only has 5 layers. And if you ever notice, like if you pull too much at like a scab or something, or like a little crusty part of hair that's bunched up, and you pull it, sometimes like you see like, oh my goodness, it's, you know, you see raw skin and it's like kind of bleeding a little bit. It's because their skin is so thin. And so these mats are pulling because they're you know, bound tight. So they're pulling on the skin. As these mats start to ball up tight, it starts to pull at the surface of the skin here. And then as it starts to pull on the surface of the skin, you know, anything you do is the dog's gonna be like, don't do it, you know. But that's the thing. We have to just and at that point, I think it is best to find a professional groomer, somebody like me, you know, to you know, handle it for you. And most of the times, the groomer probably will say, hey, we got to shave this all off and start over, because sometimes that's the most humane thing to do, because the dog is just in too much pain. And to try to work out those mats, not only will it take 5-6 hours minimum 5-6 hours, but it's also going to hurt the dog a lot, you know, and scare them a lot, because not only are they in pain, but they're anticipating the pain. And so that's a lot of the reaction, because a lot of times you're not even doing anything, but the dog's still freaking out because they're anticipating the pain. They're scared. So, but the thing is, the Schnauzer matted everywhere. After I dematted the head, and he really didn't like it too much, but he tolerated it, but his feet and legs was not having it. But when I went through with the clippers and I shaved it off, after I called the owner, of course, I made sure the owner was okay with it. But once I started shaving all under the mats, he was fine. He just stood there. So it's humanity over vanity. Even though we want the dog to look a certain way, we have to understand that sometimes the most humane thing to do is just to get rid of the matted coat and start over. And as the coat starts to come back in, then we start to brush and we start to do regular maintenance, and you know, we avoid that. But yeah, if it does seem to hurt, then maybe just shave it all off, you know, and then start hand stripping and you know, doing the regular brushing afterwards. Nanny Ortiz, thank you, and thank you, Nanny. Thank you so much for joining. And Nanny, you know me the best, I guess, out of the group here. Let me know if I'm rambling too much. Keep me on check. Steel TX Gal. What about pulling the hair out of the ears? What can make that not hurt so much? Okay, so yes, that Schnauzer that I was doing, for example, and his name's Kiefer. He's on my Facebook page if you guys want to see the Schnauzer I'm talking about. But the ears, just packed full of hair. Oh my goodness, just packed full. So, I mean, what I did, I didn't even have ear powder. I probably shouldn't say that. I ran out of ear powder. So I didn't even have ear powder. But what I did was I just kind of brushed and combed and, you know, and started to just work it a little bit at a time. And just not even force it. Just get the hairs that come out. And as I was doing that, he actually liked it. He started, you know, closing his eyes and kind of getting into it, you know, because I was just doing gently and just doing a little bit at a time. I wasn't rushing it. And I see sometimes I see people get like hemostats and they, you know, the ear twist it and boom, you know, oh my God. I'm just like, oh, that would, I just feel like that would hurt so much. No wonder they scared to death. But I just gently, you know, and I got it clear. The ears were so clean. You could see right down into the canal, you know, and I was so happy about that. I told the owner, I showed it to him, I kind of bragged. But yeah, it takes a little time. It takes a little bit more effort, but you know, I like to do it slowly and just kind of get the hairs that come out easily first. And then as you do that, more and more hairs start to show up and it just comes out. It just starts to come out, but you don't want to get too much at one time. Just less is more. A little goes a long way. So let's see here. Royal Pets, the Royal Pets in the house. All right, Alan Powell. Sorry, I'm in my mom's house and she doesn't really turn on the AC. Oh my goodness. You ever go to grandma's house and she doesn't turn on the AC in the summer? She doesn't turn on the heater in the winter? Oh my goodness. That's my mom's house. Anyways, Alan Powell. Do you ever have people think grooming is a woman's sport? I've had a few people who are like, male dog groomer, what the heck? Yeah, you know, like, oh, that's gay, whatever, you know, and nothing against gay groomers. I love Robert, for example, one of the groomers I really look up to. You know, he gave me he sold it to me for, pretty much gave it to me, the Aussie shears. You know, he's gay, you know, and I love him. So I'm not saying anything bad, but yeah, it's like, why do people look at grooming as if it would, you know, why do people look at a lot of stuff that women do as like some feminine, you know, like, oh, you know, that's weak stuff, you know, because have you ever done pots and pans? Have you ever watched pots and pans? That's hard stuff. Have you scrubbed a stove out? Oh my goodness, you know, like a lot of stuff that women do, you know, if a male actually tried some of these things, you're just kind of like, oh my goodness, you know, this is really not like, you know, that kind of pansy stuff, you know. Anyways, yeah, and Alan, you know, what if those guys that really think that grooming is like a frou-frou job, have them in front of a German Shepherd that's growling, and they got to do the nails. They got to file it too. Come on now, you know. Yeah, tell me how feminine that is. That's what I'm saying. Groomers, we're amazing, you know. Shoot, I'm so happy to call myself a dog groomer. Nanny Ortiz, can you groom a cat? No. Okay. And here's why I don't groom cats, because I don't understand cats that much. I'm actually getting really close with Olaf. Olaf is our cat here in our house. My mom got a cat. My mom's a cat person. Who knew? Okay. So anyways, I'm starting to get really close with that cat. He comes up to me, I pet him. I got him some catnip toys. So I'm starting to try, you know, I appreciate cats, but I just don't understand cats, and I don't feel as connected with them as I do with dogs. And I think I went over this before, but cats, the way they use grooming is entirely different than the way dogs use grooming. So even just that, you know, I don't know. I just I don't want to get involved with cats. And I feel like even now there's so much about dog grooming I'm still learning about that I think I have enough on my plate to try to master dog grooming. I don't want to actually, you know, do too much, you know, and groom cats and then what's next, you know, hamsters and gerbils, you know. No, I just want to stick with dogs. And nothing against cat groomers. I really respect cat groomers because cats, you know, a dog will bite the nail clippers if it doesn't want you clipping its nails. It'll usually bite the nail clippers. If it tries to bite you, they're just trying to get you to stop usually. A cat's different. A cat will try to kill you. A cat will try to kill you. Nanny Ortiz, do you need to brush your dog hair to give them a bath? Yes. So in my opinion, so Nanny, here's my rules. If people follow these 3 simple rules, you'll avoid 90% of skin problems. If you just follow 3 simple rules. 1, always brush and comb your dog before you wash them. Okay, so comb and brush your dog, brush them and comb them with a metal comb before you wash them. Okay. And then after you shampoo, always use conditioner. So if you're gonna use one or the other, if you're gonna use shampoo and not conditioner, or conditioner and not shampoo, it's better, in my opinion, to use conditioner and not shampoo. Some of these products these days, they're saying that you don't need conditioner because of the way they're formulated. But if you really think about it, what is shampoo doing? Shampoo is cleaning, is clearing out dead, the old oils and dirt and debris. It's cleaning. It's a detergent. It has a stripping agent to it. That's just nature of shampoo. So shampoo is kind of opening up the hair fibers so it can attach itself to these dirt particles and old oils. It's going into these pores and clearing it out. Now, once everything is all clear and open, it's wide open for that bacteria to move right in, and bacteria is very opportunistic. So conditioner, what it does is it seals everything back up, and it puts oils back in the skin, and these oils is going to create a protective layer, a protective barrier for the hair and the skin to repel off bacteria, dust and debris and all of that stuff. So conditioner is super important, more important than shampoo. So 2 rules, actually. It's just 2 simple rules. Always brush and comb your dog before you wash, and then always use conditioner after you use shampoo. If you follow those 2 rules, you'll probably avoid 90% of all skin issues, seasonal allergies, hot spots, all these dermatitis, atopy, whatever you want to call it, just by brushing and combing thoroughly. I mean, every square inch before you wash, and then after you shampoo, always use conditioner. Nanny Ortiz, my dog hates when I brush her hair. Oh man, my daughters used to really hate it when I brush their teeth, and I know it's not really cool to go there, but seriously, like they may hate it now because Dexter, my dog Dexter, he would growl at me and bite me, and bite, when I first got him, when I would brush him and everything, because his skin was just so packed full of all this stuff, and he didn't like it. He had seasonal allergies. I was giving him antibiotics that the vet gave me, and so there was a lot of stuff going on with the skin. He wasn't comfortable, obviously. So when I go through and start brushing him, he didn't like it. He was growling and biting at me. He's a pit mix. He's a blue pit mix, and that can get intimidating. But I knew my intentions, so I would just lift my hand softly on his shoulder, his neck and shoulder area. So if he does come at me, I have a way to kind of push him off. But just right there, just hey, buddy, it's okay. And I just brush another area and brush him. And the more I brush, the more he realized this actually feels really good. It may not feel good when he's doing it, but after he's all done, wow, I feel so amazing, and so this morning, I was like, come on, Dexter. He jumped. He's the first one on the table, because he's like, oh, yes, So, Nanny, your dog may not like brushing before the bath, or may not like you to brush them, period. But just keep doing it, and doing it knowing that you're doing the right thing and with the right intentions. And I promise you it'll get better. Tabitha Lancaster Mitchell, thanks for sharing with us. I'm a Yorkie breeder. What is the best tool for you to use for cutting hair off the tip of their ears before setting? Okay, so for Yorkie ears, I do Yorkie ears kind of like I do Westie ears, and this is what I learned for Barbara Johnston. She runs Swanky Paws off of Sugarloaf Parkway. So if you're here in Georgia, Gwinnett County, Lawrenceville, so it's right behind LA Fitness. But anyways, giving her a little bit of shout out. Swanky Paws in Lawrenceville. Barbara Johnston taught me this, and I love it. With Yorkie ears, Westie ears, any of those terrier ears where you're tipping the ears and it kind of has that, the rounded look around the tips of the ears. What I do is I slicker everything to one side, and then I kind of pull it like this with my fingertips, pull all the hair out, and then I scissor. and like, let's say that's the tip of the ear, I scissor right to the tip. And so scissors, my answer to what is the best tool to cut the hair off the tip of the ears before setting, I use scissors. And my fingers also, I hand strip a lot of that. So I hand strip the inside of the ears, so it's nice and clean inside ears. And then when I hand strip the inside of the ears going out, that actually gets a lot of dead hair from the outer part of the ear as well when you get to the tips. And then when I hand strip a lot of that dead hair, and it comes out so easily, just hand strip it right out of the ear, then you already pretty much have your shape, and then you kind of shape it with the scissors, and it looks like someone went with a 10 or a 30 blade and set it right there, set that tip of the ear for you with the clippers. It wasn't with clipper blades though. It was by hand stripping and then with your scissors. And that to me, that's dog grooming. That's skill, baby. Nanny Ortiz, she's a Yorkie Pomeranian mix. Yorkie Pomeranian mix, Yorkies and Pomeranians, both Pomeranian. I read a breed book from the Chandler Library back in Arizona about both the Yorkie and the Pomeranian. Both of those books at the library said that they need daily combing and brushing. I think it was the Pomeranian book, or it may have been the Yorkie book, but they were kind of harsh. They were saying that if you don't have time for daily brushing, then you don't have time for a Yorkie or a Pomeranian, whichever it was. I was like, man, that's kind of harsh. You know, I don't know if I personally would put it in those words, you know, but I would say that it is regular brushing is a huge part of a Yorkie or a Pomeranian's life. And so if you have a mix of the two breeds, regular brushing is a must, in my opinion. Nanny Ortiz, her hair is very puffy. Do you use like a oil cream? No. It's very puffy because there's all that fuzzy dead undercoat. And so when you start to comb it out with the fine Greyhound comb and a slicker brush, a lot of that puffiness will actually go down. And so like Weemy, for example, my wife was telling me, I like it when he has that nice round muzzle. And I was telling her the only reason why it's nice and round, it gets that way, is because there's a lot of that, you know, dead undercoat starting to come out, and it kind of holds it up. But once I comb it all out, it lays flat again, you know, well, maybe not so flat. And so my wife was like, maybe not brush all of the dead undercoat out, like maybe leave some of that undercoat in there so it stays fluffy. And so I was like, okay, you know, I won't go all out and get it all out then, you know, I'll just leave some so it stays a little fluffy. But a lot of that fluffiness, and the reason why the coat stands up, chows, for example, chow breeders actually will say not to get a lot of that undercoat out. You know, they have a very coarse metal comb. It usually has a wooden handle, and the teeth are very wide. And that's what they use for chows, because the chows, they want that thick undercoat so it stacks that coat properly. You know, they look like that big fluff ball. So, you know, it's about knowing the breed, but you know, a lot of that puffy fluffiness is a lot of that dead undercoat that I personally would brush and comb out. So Tabitha Lancaster Mitchell, yes, Yorkies require daily brushing. Yes, Tabitha, I'm glad you agree with me. Yorkies really do require daily brushing, but they say that about Maltese and Shih Tzus as well. My dog Weemy is a Maltese Shih Tzu mix. I didn't come home for like over a week. Today was the first time in like a week. You know, and I did a really thorough job today. You know, he's good, he's healthy, he's happy. But, you know, so I say my pediatrician, when we went to get Ava's teeth checked when she was like 2 years old, you know, or I think she was like a year old. But anyways, the pediatrician was like telling Kimmy and I that we're not doing a good job brushing her teeth. And I told him that's Kimmy's fault. Just kidding. I told him, that's impossible because we do it at least twice a day. We may not do it 3 times a day, but we do it morning and night. And he looked at us and told us, don't focus so much on how many times you do it. Focus more on how thoroughly you do it. So he was saying, even if you don't do it 3 times a day, even if you only do it once a day, just get all the nooks and crannies. Do a really thorough job. And floss, you know, and do a really good job. And then you can do it once a day. It doesn't matter. It would stay cleaner than doing it 3 times a day and not really getting in there. So same thing with brushing. rather than think, oh, I got to do it every day and check it off the list, rather than think of it as something you just check off a list, really understand what we're doing for the skin. And so spend the time and do a thorough job. So even if you're not doing it every day, let's say you're doing it once a week like me, spend that time. I spent about an hour, going through and clearing out all of that dead hair that comes out it comes out just by using a slicker brush and a metal comb. A lot of dead hair comes out. So, Steel TX Gal, how do you get your puppies used to nail trims? I use massage as a way to bribe my dogs, and so there's a lot of pressure points around the dog's paws. And you could Google pressure points for dogs, in their paws, and there's a lot of charts and Google images that you can go by. And there's also a really good book called AccuDog, ACU Dog, DOG. So AccuDog by Amy Snow. I bought it off of Amazon, but it shows you all these different pressure points around the paws that are calming points and just really have a really healing, a lot of these benefits that help promote wellness in a dog. And relieve stress and tension. So, just think about when we get a hand massage. So I use massage. And so I start, oh man, that feels so good. Even just doing that to myself, oh man. So I use massage. I massage the dog first. And usually they pull away. Sometimes dogs, especially dogs that don't like having their feet messed with. The Schnauzer the other day, for example, oh my goodness, he just freaked out. But during the bath, when I massaged those pressure points, he was, butter in my hand. He just melted. So I use a massage. And so I massage. Doesn't always work. And so sometimes they still freak out. And I wait usually it gets worse before it gets better. So I wait for that big explosion where they just freak out. And then they just, and that's when very good. And then I, go ahead and do the nails. But that's just me, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So then I do try other things. And sometimes I just tell the owner, you know what, maybe we'll try again on the next visit, and I just remind myself, this doesn't have to be done, and it's better for the dog to be comfortable and have a good experience so that we can try it again next time than to force the issue. If you shove a broccoli down someone's throat, no matter how healthy it is, they're going to choke to death. You kill somebody by shoving a broccoli down their throat. So, I try to keep that in mind and just not try to force it, and there's a certain line that I don't like to cross when I'm grooming a dog. And it's just different. I really don't know how to explain where that line is in a measurable way. It's just a gut feeling that I get. And I just go with my gut and feel like, okay, this is a line I don't want to cross. This is going to hurt my conscience if I push this any further, So it's just, I think, a personal decision. But yeah, how do I get my puppies used to nail trims? I give them nice massages. I make it a very pleasant experience for them. And then usually that works. Nanny Ortiz, thank you, Nanny. And I really appreciate you, Nanny, for not taking it like I'm preaching to you or telling you should do this. How do you live your life? Like you should be ashamed of your. No, I'm really glad that you understand where I'm coming from. I just, this information helps, right? I mean, I didn't know this information before, so I'm really coming in from it with appreciation that you actually are asking questions, you're engaged, and you want to know. So I love that. And I thank you for knowing that. I really just want to help. So Stevie Donaldson, late to show. I'm having trouble getting my Shih Tzu to let me cut his legs and feet. Suggestions. So Stevie Donaldson, I would say again, just visualize, seeing it happening, seeing yourself doing it, and then doing it before, imagine it happening. Breathe, center yourself. And then once you can believe that it can happen, then go about it. And then let's say it doesn't happen. Let's say you really convinced yourself, you believe it's going to happen, you've done this visualization crap, and it doesn't work. Well, then that's when our imagination kicks in and we have to start to getting creative. And it's different with every Shih Tzu. Weenie, for example, my Shih Tzu, he cooperates pretty well, but every once in a while he tucks his legs under. He tucks his legs and he doesn't want to do. Oh, that reminds me. There was a question from Jennifer on Twitter that I back in July. I didn't even know. So back in July, okay. So her Twitter handle is Jennifer7238. Jennifer7238. She asked about her dog. How does she get it to? She has to trim the hindquarters, and how does she get him to stop sitting down for the groom? And they have grooming like harnesses that go under the belly and hold the dog up, and certain things like that. And Stevie, you may want to look into that. You know, it kind of like holds the dog up from the belly. These belly harnesses that you can hook up to like a bar at the top of the table. I personally don't like to use a lot of those things. You know, they are tools, they're helpful, but me personally, I really like to use my mind and just, you know, just try to come up with the way, and you know your dog best. You know what motivates them, you know their personalities and things like that. So try to think, how do I get this dog to understand that this is actually beneficial to them? You know, give them an incentive for them to cooperate while you're trimming their legs and feet. And then they will be more willing to cooperate with you when you trim them. A treacle. I have an English Cocker Spaniel named Treacle, and a picture of her is on my Facebook page as well. But Treacle, it took me like 3 years for her to get to a point where I can groom her front legs. I can go down with clippers. I can go down with, you know, I can groom her front legs now. For the first like 2 years, oh my, it was such a struggle. The first year, oh my, I thought that I would never get to a point where she was gonna let me groom her legs, and I had to do it so gently, like kind of, you know, comb the hairs up on her legs and scissor it down like a poodle, because she just wouldn't let me go down with clippers or anything. She just would get scared, and do all this like ninja, like, you know, this Wing Chun kung fu stuff, you know, to try to get me from stop working on her legs, especially with clippers. But now I can go down with clippers, no problem. I was grooming her at Unleashed in the self-serve area, and other people were coming in with their dogs. I got several compliments on how well behaved she is. She just stands there like a statue, you know? But I earned that. I earned that trust. And so, yeah, it is possible. It just takes patience sometimes, and I guess having that vision of how am I going to get her to finally believe that, you know, me working on her legs and feet is okay. Let's see. Nanny or T. Steel TX, y'all. Love that you compare your daughter and your puppies. I always call mine my four-legged son. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do. You know, like, and they say that dogs have the emotional IQ of a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. And my younger daughter, Annabelle, she's 5 years old, you know, and, you know, there's talk about emotional IQ, you know, she goes from one end of the spectrum to the other, you know, like, so yeah, dogs, you know, they really are like our children, and they're so innocent and trusting, and they look to us like our children do. And you know, I think part of the endearing part, you know, part of the thing that we love about dogs, they never grow out of that stage. They always look to us. We're everything to them, you know, and I think that that's a huge responsibility, you know, especially if you love your dog. Nanny Ortiz, my dad's dog have black color nails. He's a pit bull. Yeah, the black color, but if you know how perfect. If you know how the dog's nails grow, then you know where to cut and the angle to cut, rather than cut this way, like with the pads, you cut this way. And I went over that on another video, I think, but yeah, as long as you know how the nerve grows and how to avoid it when you're clipping, and then just, you know, use a Dremel or a steel nail file to kind of file around the edges, you know, you should be able to avoid the nerve, or, you know, cutting it too close and causing it to bleed. Bridget Galaskiewicz. Bridget Galaskiewicz. Okay, I think that's it. Bridget Galaskiewicz. I'm a new groomer, and I have learned a lot from. Oh, Bridget, thank you so much. And this channel really is meant for you. It's meant for new groomers and pet owners who want to do it themselves at home, because And I really want to give good information that's going to help you do that. That's actually going to help you, if you're a new groomer, become a good groomer. If you're a pet owner trying to groom your dog at home, actually to be able to do that. That's what this channel is about. And so I'm so glad that you said that you actually learned a lot from this, because yeah, that, Bridget, thank you. Yeah, Bridget says thank you. Thank you, Bridget. Seriously, it helps me know that I'm actually doing what I wanted to do. Now that this channel is actually doing what it's meant to do. It's actually to teach. There was a really interesting conversation I had with my younger cousin in Las Vegas when I was in Super Zoo. My younger cousin out there, he's a genius, by the way, but he actually asked me a question that really helped me focus and get on track. He was like, "What industry are you in?" And I told him, "I'm in the dog grooming industry." Of course, obvious, I'm in the dog grooming industry. He was like, "No, you're in the do-it-yourself industry." He was like, "That's what you do. You help people do it themselves." And I was like, I never thought of it that way. I was like, I'm in the do-it-yourself industry. I'm in the DIY industry, And he was like, dog grooming is my segment in the DIY industry. And I was like, whoa, I never thought of it that way. I'm not in the dog grooming industry. I'm not competing against all these other dog groomers that have, all these awards and, recognized internationally, because I'm not in the dog grooming industry. I'm in the DIY industry. I'm in the do-it-yourself industry. So yeah, I'm in dog grooming is just my sector in the DIY industry. So that's really cool that this is actually helpul to people. Steel TXL, my dog has his own IG page. It's at UBE_THE_RED_TX_DAUG. So it's at UBTheRedTXDog. My foster Schnoxy is featured there as well. Great chat session. Okay, perfect. So if anybody wants to chat on the IG page for Steel TX Gal, it's at the letter U, B, the red, TX dog, DAUG, and all those all of that is separated by underscore. I'm not really familiar with the IG page, so. Nanny, thank you, Jen. I really like your videos. You help me a lot. Thank you so much. And it's 4 o'clock, so I'm gonna end up. But Cat for Animals commented on our last one, asking about the plaque off. How do I like it so far? I wanted to let everyone know that I'm actually taking a spoonful of this a day, and the spoon that it comes with is actually tiny, so tiny, right? And so it's actually like smaller than my nostril, So I've been taking this like one a day just to see how it does with my teeth. And Annabelle, my 5-year-old, was over here with me when I took it earlier, and she just looked at me. She goes, "Dad, did you just eat dog stuff?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Anyway, it's called plaque off. It helps their teeth. So I'm gonna try it, see if it helps my teeth." And she just looks at me. And she just gives me this weird look. She doesn't even know what to say. And then she just walks away and she starts going upstairs. I was like, "Annabelle, I'm just trying it just so I can tell people how it works for me. I'm just trying it." And she goes, "That's just so weird." And she walks up. But anyways, it's been about 4 weeks now, 3-4 weeks since I've been giving it to my dogs. I haven't really noticed a big change. Really cool thing is, it tastes straight up like sea kelp. And we use a lot of sea kelp in a lot of Korean dishes, a lot of soup bases, and seaweed, sushi. We eat a lot of sea kelp. It tastes dead like sea kelp, like powdered sea kelp. And I'm sure there's a different formula. Like there's a way that they formulate it so that it prevents the formation of plaque. But it tastes like seaweed, and really interesting. But I haven't noticed any change, Cat for Animals, yet. But it's only been about 3-4 weeks. And I remember when they showed me the pictures, in about 4 weeks, there really wasn't much change. But 4 months, there was a huge change, night and day. So maybe in about 4 months, I'll be doing another update to say like, whoa, look at this, my dog's teeth are white, So who knows? In about 4 months, we'll see. Insect Shield, the bandanas that I got, I'm not so sure if they're working. I mean, I'm sure it works because the science of it makes sense. Just like diatomaceous earth, it makes sense. But I don't know if it's working because the fleas are still there. You know, like even with the Sentry, there's a couple fleas around their neck that I brushed out today. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of these companies, and that's why first of all, I haven't had time to write blog articles on any of these products. I've really just been so busy, and I feel lucky. I feel so lucky to be busy, but I just haven't had time. But also, I think that's a blessing in disguise because it's giving me a chance to use these products and actually see how they're working before I write a good blog about them. Because I don't want to like, oh, this stuff is great. I had a great conversation with these people, and then a few months later, be like, wait a minute, I'm not really sure if it's working or not. So, this is a good time for me, I think, just to kind of go and see how these products are working personally, so I can let you know. Sentry, it's not working. The Plaque Off, I'm kind of taking it myself to see how it works. I'm giving my dog the treats. Once they run out of the treats, I'll start sprinkling that in their food. But I'll keep you guys updated on the Plaque Off. What other products? Anyways, yeah, if you guys want to know about a product that I'm reviewing, just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys so much. The 9 viewers that are still here, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And Rosanna, shout out to Rosanna in Canada, because I know you're gonna watch this maybe tomorrow. So I love you guys. Barry, I love you, Barry. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. I'll see you guys.